You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
Thank you for listening to Live the Dream Media.
Does your ordinary radio feel a little limited? If you're looking for a new way to listen, it's time for a fresh start. Introducing the Live the Dream Media app, your premier destination and a new level up for digital radio. Over the last 2 years, we've found new ways to ensure your digital radio experience is the best it can possibly be. From live podcasts that spark new perspectives to a 24/7 soundtrack of live music, and even our built-in merch store. We've built a platform that is convenient, high quality, and simple to navigate. But we're only just getting started. Catch all of our shows weekly and join the Live the Dream Media family today and help us change the airwaves forever. Download it for free on the App Store or Play Store today. Live the dream. The dream starts now.
Your favorite radio just got bigger, bolder, and better connected. Live the Dream Media is revolutionizing how you stay tuned in. With our explosive growth in online radio and our brand new mobile app, your entertainment goes wherever you do. Stream your favorite shows, discover new hits, and connect with audiences across the digital landscape, all at your fingertips. Advertisers don't miss out. Join our expanding digital network and reach engaged listeners across platforms. Download the Live the Dream Media app today and experience radio reimagined.
Looking for a radio station that actually wakes you up, guys? Well, every weekday from 6 to 9 a.m., Christopher D. Simone brings you Wake Up Live, the morning show that sets the tone for your whole day. Then stay tuned for the Marana Oro Valley Experience, Southwest Flavor with Ron Arenas, The Bob Elliott Show, and so much more. Live the Dream Media is online radio packed with music, live podcasts, and shows you can only hear right here. Download the app on the App Store or Google Play. Live the Dream Media. The dream starts now.
And we are 9 a.m. Monday morning. Must be time for the Marana Oro Valley Experience. What a joy to wake up to rain this morning, huh? Wow, so cool. I am here with our special friend on a special edition, Jackie Craig. Welcome. Thank you, thanks for being here. Hey, so let's just jump right into this. Hey, first off, before we do that, though, welcome to the new digs. Studio B is live. We got Tony engineering and producing this. We got Jackson making sure everybody's hydrated. So this is our inaugural run of the Studio B at Live the Dream Media. We're excited about that. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk about you. Okay. It's all about you, Jackie. It's a Jackie Craig show. So I'm excited that you're running, first off, for town council for the town of Marana. That is amazing. Thank you for stepping up. I know you have a history with that, but I want to talk about your past, your service to our country in a foreign diplomatic environment. Can you talk about that a little bit, please?
Oh, absolutely. I was in the U.S. Diplomatic Corps with the U.S. Department of State, and primarily overseas assignments. I was in a management operations cone, they called it, which means that I was in charge of help all the infrastructure of the embassy, like procurement, motor pool, providing housing to people, human resources. I need to be closer to the mic. Human resources, motor pool, housing, budgeting, information systems, everything. So I supervised the people that did that. And as I started higher in my career, I was in charge of bigger and bigger embassies. So my final posting was in Jakarta, Indonesia. Absolutely huge embassy with thousands of staff. So I guess what my biggest takeaways from that would apply directly to the council job are budgeting, understanding the budgeting process with all of its different little funnels to different things, and money that can only be used for this or that, and how downstream money affects upstream money. So I understand the budgeting process and how to read a budget document. And also, most important, I think, is how to work as a team with staff. So we had kind of a similar thing where the council does policy, and I was more what the staff is. So we had an ambassador who set the policy, and then he told the staff what he wanted the result. So I know how to work in that kind of policy operational mode, and how important it is to work as a team to make the policy clear, and yet to appreciate all the hurdles that staff might have to overcome to make it happen. And I think I worked really well when I was on the council with the staff, understanding what we needed to do, like make a strategic plan and get the budget done. So I think people sometimes think all there is to the council is going to 2 meetings every month.
I've heard people say, well, it's just a part-time job.
But it's much more than
But
that.
it's not
much more than that.
Well, it's a 24/7, 365, because if you're a council, you can't go to the grocery store, I'm sure, without someone going, hey, what about such and such? Or are you aware of this? And, there's just, it's got to, because I'm not in the council and I get it all the time,
Right.
because they know I know you.
And email, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And phone
right.
calls. So when did that part of your career start? Am I doing math here? Somewhere in the 90s?
1988,
Okay.
89. It's a long time ago. I
Yeah,
can't remember.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
2013 is when I retired.
Some incredible things in that events. And does anything stand out in that 25 years that you go, wow, that really made an impression on me? Or that was like, was this something that you had planned as a younger person, or how did that
How did that happen? I was going to be a doctor, but I didn't do so well in chemistry. So
Yeah, that's kind
forget
of important.
to get into the Foreign Service is an exam. And I happened to be overseas. My father was on a Fulbright fellowship teaching in Africa, in Zambia. And I had just traveled Europe. I taught for 3 years at the international school in Zambia, and I worked with the embassy a lot, and I thought, that's what I want to do. So I took the exam, passed it, and started from there.
So you were already...
I was already overseas.
yeah,
I mean, I was raised, I was overseas a lot as a child. My parents just took a lot of overseas assignments. So, yeah, I love the overseas life. Something that really stood out for me, and not in a good way, I was in Bangladesh in the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, and it was like rent a crowd. So somebody paid a crowd to storm the embassy, throw stones. We worried about were they going to find out where we lived. We had to stay locked in our houses for a month and a half.
Is that 91?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty scary.
Yeah. Rent a crowd, not unlike what we see today in parts of the world. So you moved here when you retired then?
Right,
Is that
2013.
Yeah, 2013. What attracted you to Marana? Was there...
Well, I was born in Tucson.
Yeah.
And
you're native.
My parents would come back here in between their overseas assignments. And then they retired here in 1998, bought one of the first houses in the Highlands. And so I would come back and visit them a lot, and just loved it.
Yeah. I
So
love
we
that.
retired.
We're kind of neighbors. I'm just down this, I eat at the Highlands like 3 times a week.
a great
I
restaurant,
love
isn't it?
that. I was there this weekend. I'm there all the time. I see people walking down the street and that I know.
Oh.
Tim Brudenkamp. You know Tim.
Yeah.
I saw him the other day. I was leaving, and here he was, and he was walking his dog right down the street, and he saw me. He goes, and Clint, I was.
Does he live in the Highlands?
Well, he lives just at that four-way.
Oh, okay.
It's not a four-way stop now. It's the signal light. He lives right there somewhere. And he goes, I was just inside here thinking about you because I know you come here all the time, and I drove by right then. Hey,
I was at an event 2 nights ago, and people kept coming up to me saying, I'm at the Highlands restaurant all the time.
Yeah.
Like, great.
I've seen you there. I've seen you there a couple of times. Yeah, I have. We're there all the time. Someone, well, I'm not going to. This is the Jackie Craig show. We'll talk about the Highlands some other time. So let me make sure. I think it was 2020. Yeah, 2020. You ran for town council.
Right.
What caused you to do that at that time?
At that time, I think there was quite furor over the Tortolita Preserve.
Mm-hmm.
Some misunderstanding maybe of what the town was trying to accomplish, but everybody ended up out and got very upset that they were trying to take over the Tortolita Preserve. So I ran pretty much on an environmental ticket at that point, and it was a very bipartisan. I mean, just everybody on Dove Mountain was against it. But at first I was, no growth. We don't want any more housing up on the mountain. But I did evolve even in the campaign. I started to study urban planning and realized that really what we want is a very vibrant urban core with everything that anybody could want down there, right?
Yeah.
Recreation, parks, entertainment area, housing, all kinds of different housing, connectivity, walkable. And so during my time in the council, that's what I was always trying to get. We do want some density down there.
Yeah.
And some options.
Yeah. We've got to have it.
Yeah.
We've got to have it. You said something a moment ago about, you mentioned the word you evolved, and I'm going to give you one that I evolved on. I have been, and it involves Ed Honey, who is a dear friend of ours. He's a dear friend of mine. And it involves him, but it involves a lot of people like yourself, John Post, all the people that I used to be a staunch, hardcore term limit guy. No exceptions, and I still feel that way about state stuff, federal stuff. I still feel that way. Local stuff, I have totally changed. I'm a 180, and I'll tell you why. First off, in local environments, we don't have the same volume of people to pull from. And some of this stuff, and I'm going to say this about Marana, and I believe this is a positive, not a negative. Marana was originally created out of necessity. I know all these families. I've heard the stories about, like Ina, how this got incorporated. Was
I remember that.
RMA bought a police car and started patrolling the area when this was still unincorporated Pima County. And when it came time as I had never heard of it referred to this, but Ted Maxwell was on last week and referred to it as the Golden Triangle. I never heard this area referred to as that.
Because of all the retail.
Because this is where all the retail was, especially at that time frame. 1910, I think. Huh? Ed Honey used to tell the story about he and his brother dug some of the first water lines back in, I guess, the 60s, maybe early 70s. Have you ever dug in this? Well, you have.
I have. I had
you're
to put
putting
my
your
signs
out.
in.
That's tough.
That's hard work.
Yeah, I will never dig in this ground again. So let's flash forward to 2026. So, and again, thank you for your service in the foreign diplomatic
service.
Thank you, diplomatic service. I can repeat stuff. And then thank you in 2020 for stepping up and getting involved. But here we are in 2026. I won't get into why there was a position open. That's important, but it's not important. But we had one spot open on the council that it looked like was going to go to what I'll refer to as the opposition by default.
Correct.
Right? And when I remember when I first heard your name come up, and this was late, was it April? Does that sound right? April-ish?
Okay, where are we now? In June? I
We're
think
in
it was
middle-
still in May. I think it was May.
Yeah, I know it's been in the last like 6 weeks. And when I heard your name come up, and I'm like, will she do it? And I was assured that you would. I'm like, well, then let's go.
Well, as you said, there would have been a vacancy.
Yeah.
So 3 incumbents and 3 challengers for 4 seats. And I really think the world of the incumbents. I worked with them for 4 years. They vote their conscience. There were allegations of corruption that's simply not true. There were allegations against the staff, we are so lucky we have the greatest staff in the world.
Yeah, we do.
And I just didn't think that the type of people who would be making those accusations could work as a team. As I was saying, how important that is with the staff and with the council members. And so, even though we're really having a great life, pretty much retired, right?
Yeah.
Pickleball, hiking.
Yeah.
I decided to step up and run as a write-in, and that's an uphill challenge.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But
To my knowledge, and I've asked several people in the know, no one's ever even done it, even attempted it, much on your scale, or maybe never. And no one, to our knowledge, no one's ever won. So you're getting ready to make history, because I feel strongly that you can make this happen, and we're going to help you. I really believe that. Or you wouldn't do it, and we wouldn't do it, right?
Right. I just like you, it's an uphill battle, and every time I'm kind of worried about it, everybody I talked to said, "No, I think you're good because you have a lot of support." So I hope so.
Well, you have your track record's great as the 4 years that you were there. Ed Honey loved you.
Well,
Because I didn't know you.
that's an honor.
And I didn't know you. And I'd say, Ed and I we were tight. We had a lot of, especially when we were riding around, it's just him and I, we could say things openly. And I'm like, what about this? And what about that? What about Jackie? And she's amazing.
Well, he and I had some disagreements on maybe some water issues, Maybe I thought we should save a little bit more water or leave wildlife corridors, but essentially we agreed.
One of the last meals that he and I had, and we ate together a lot, one of the last meals, I'll even shout him out. We were out at Skyrider. My wife was there, and we got into a serious disagreement over education. Now, we're coming from the same point, but we're disagreeing on how we get there. And he looked at Tammy, my wife, and he goes, "Tammy, am I going to have to take an Uber home?" She goes, "No, Ed, we'll take you to the front door."
But he loved to discuss.
He would have
done it all day long.
We didn't fight.
Right.
That's a big difference. But we disagreed and argued about whatever we disagreed and argued about. And he could give it just as good as he could take it. So that was, hey, if you haven't had an argument with Ed, you didn't know Ed
You
very
did
well.
not live, yes.
Yeah. I think about him all the time. His death kind of, I think, opened this whole 2026 election up. Because if you think about it, John wouldn't be running to fulfill the last 2 years of his election. Ed was an easy win the last,
Right.
I don't know how many times he actually ran for mayor, but it's since, let's see, probably about what was he, like 08, I think is when he
Started to be mayor.
became the mayor. He was a council person up until that time, but I think about 08, 09, somewhere in there is when he became the mayor, and he just never had any. And when he did have competition, it was
Dan Post, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Ran
was never
against
even
him?
close. But that changed the whole dynamics, the number game quite a bit.
I do. I really admire John for stepping up. I mean, he had a full-time job, more than a full-time job, running his farm and the pumpkin patch, and yet he agreed to do it.
Yeah. He's we love. For full disclosure, we love John Post
Me too.
a
I think it's
lot.
great.
I mean, he is family. He's becoming more, as tight as Ed and I was to David, Tammy, us, as part of the reason we have this whole podcast system in place over here was because of Ed Honey. Ed loved talking, and
Right.
and
So capture it.
And so if he'd have lived, he was going to have the Ed Honey show.
Really?
Yeah, he was already gearing up for that. He passed away in November of 23 now. 2024. But he was going to start in January as soon as the holidays were over. He was going to start. He's got, Clint, I'm going to tell it all. I'm going to tell it all. I've got nothing to lose at this point in my life. But he was a big reason why we did what we did and pushed ourselves to be better at what we were doing. If we got the mayor on, we got to step our game up.
Amazing.
So just a little tidbit about how the Live the Dream podcast division grew. But we love Herb Kai. Herb Kai was one of the first people I met when I moved here. He was doing some incredibly nice things for my wife and my mother in the Copper Creek cookie business. I can see him now up at Dove Mountain when they used to do the golf tournaments, the match play or whatever.
The Accenture?
Yes.
Accenture, yeah.
Yeah. And they were in a tent out front, and it was cold. It was February, and he was in there, and he had like a heater, a gas or diesel powered heater, and he was in there working in the dark, trying to make sure they had heat. Well, those things impress.
Yeah.
If you're taking care of my mother, my wife. I mean, John Officer, I've known for forever. Terry is newer, but I've known of her forever.
She is amazing. The things that she does for this community.
And has
And
unheralded, and no one even knows about it. Right. A good friend of mine, Brother Lang, I'll call him that way. He was with Devin the day he met Terry and was in the wedding, a good friend of mine. And one day I mentioned him, he goes, you know those folks? Like Marana, and the whole area is that way. Everybody knows everybody at some point. And he goes, tell him Brother Lang, so that's how I'm referring to him, said, hey. And then, of course, yourself, you alluded to it earlier. I want to put a stamp on it. I know these people. I know you. I know all these people. I know them well. I know their family. I officiated John Officer's daughter's wedding last year, the same day our first grandchild was born. Our baby in Boise was born right when they said I do. So I'll always know their anniversary, but I know these people. I've been to their homes. I've watched their children grow. I mentioned her back at the very beginning. These people, and it hurts me when a lot of this is about property. It's just so hypocritical. If somebody owns property and they've owned it for, in some cases, 100 years,
right? Exactly.
It'd be like me saying to somebody, "Well, you can't cash out your stocks or bonds or something that you've owned for years, right? It's the same thing."
Just because someone is a smart investor, think in the 1900s, buying land in Marana was not an obvious thing, right?
Yeah, they were giving it away.
Right. So people bought it. They kept it all these years, and then they want to sell it. Do we not believe in private enterprise?
Yeah. It's hypocritical, if you ask me, that people would say, well, why are they selling the land? I'll give you a great point. Right behind me, where I live, right behind me, there's a big open field that had been sitting there a long time. Just raw desert, right? Well, someone who I know, quite the developer here in the community, bought it and built a bunch of houses on it. And some of my good friends live in those houses. And people just complain. And my house is the last house built where we live. And it was built in 2008. That was all, there weren't even roads there when we moved to Doral Valley. So we were in somebody's backyard at that time. Right. So we could have all bought that property at any time if we did, right?
And it's up to the council to zone or not zone. And if somebody's a council member during that time, then they recuse themselves, which is what happened. So the procedures are set up to safeguard that, and they were followed.
Yeah, they were followed to a T.
It's so easy to sling mud, and so it's that hurts me too.
Yeah, it's very hurting. And again, I know, and I won't name any more names, but you know who I'm talking. I've known these people on the council forever. If they're getting rich on developers' money and they've got boatloads of cash under their bed, they're the best actors on the planet because I don't see it. Right?
They are good people.
Just good people.
I mean, I may have disagreed with on some of the votes, but they voted their conscience, and I knew they did.
Hey, Tammy and I have been married 35 years. We work together, carpool together, run businesses together almost the whole time. We disagree on a lot of stuff. So you can be, as Ed would say, and he'd say it often, you can disagree without being disagreeable.
Absolutely.
Because that's what I say to people all the time. Because David and I, what we pride ourselves here, Jackie, is we want to have everybody come to the table with all their opinions. Our motto is, you don't know everything. Check your ego at the door when you come in, right? Come in prepared to learn something new. That's the only way we can grow as a team. I'll use the word team again, is if we can bring our disagreements to the table, make whatever, I don't mean compromise your core values. That's not what I'm saying, but make the necessary compromises to make this thing work, right? For everybody. Because too many people, I see it all the time, you do too, especially in leadership roles. Not just leadership roles, all roles. It's all about me. How does this affect me? And it's
sad
hard.
but true.
It's hard to go, okay, yeah, it's important to me how this is going to affect me. But really, if I'm going to be a great leader or involved in my community and care for everybody equally like I say I do, I've got to accept this. What's the best for the whole?
I think, because I've met a bunch of people on all sides,
Mm-hmm.
partisan sides, and from what I am seeing, people agree like 80 to 90% of we're all
I
Americans.
agree with that 100%.
And then there's some extremes, but the guy on the street, you agree with them 90%.
People that I know that they've made it obvious, because I don't run around sharing what I said something to Ted Maxwell the other day. He goes, well, I didn't know. I would have never guessed that. And I'm going to tell you what I told him. I'm a registered independent and have been since 35, 40 years. You know what and I'm not really joking when I say this, I don't join cults of any kind. And the thing is, you said people that I know specifically that we have a different outlook on life. I've said to them before, how many things, if someone came up right now and said, hey, Jackie, hey, Clint, what are the 10 most important things to you right now? How many do you think we'd agree on? We'd agree on
like probably 10.
Yeah. And
right?
even if it wasn't 10, we all want basically the same thing. We might disagree on how we get there. That's okay. We all want a good job, a nice house,
safety,
money to take a vacation,
right?
Good education for our kids, good health, right? In no particular order, correct?
Right.
We all want that, right?
You know, another thing I've been thinking of is if you meet somebody on the other side of the political spectrum, say to them, what are you most afraid of? Because they'll say it and you're like, I wasn't thinking of doing that at all. There's nobody that I know would
Never
ever
crossed
do
my
that.
mind.
You know?
I got to share it with you. A good friend of mine, good friend of ours, but a good friend of mine. I've known him. I love him like a brother. I'll call him out. Rick Peralt. He got married, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. Beautiful wedding up in the mountains. And they were all out, not they all, but a whole bunch of people was out back talking to him. And by the way, just for the record, him and his wife have totally opposing viewpoints on a lot of stuff, which is, to me, I don't know how that happens, but okay, if you make it work, then who am I to? But so they were all outside and I walked out and they were talking politics. And Rick looked at the whole group. He goes, don't get him started, because he sees things different than all of us do. And you know what I do? I'm a moderate, kind of in the middle, for the lack of a better word. I don't really even label myself that, but I just want the facts, and preferably nonpartisan facts. Because if I'm interested in something, Jackie, I read everything I can on it from every source. And if I start seeing the same thing show up in all these different resources, then you know what? I go, you know what? This is probably
Might be true. Yeah.
right? Because if I'm reading newspapers, for example, and I'm reading them all, if the same verbiage starts showing up, and what did they say as opposed to what's your opinion on what they said?
Right.
We don't have enough of this anymore. Everybody's riding, and I'm like, stop it. Because that's
Sometimes it's hard to find the truth.
well, it's almost impossible if you're listening to the propaganda.
Right.
So that's, again, why I try to use every source available. If it's important. If it's not important, you know what? You guys fight about that, because I'm not. That doesn't. But the importance, like the money. Money's pretty important, isn't it?
It is important. Yeah.
Not that, again, in the Bible, it says money is the root of all evil. The love of money, by the way. People say, how can you talk about money so much, Clint, being a man of faith? And I'm like, it's important. Well, it's the root of all evil. And I'm like, where'd you read that? And they're like, in the Bible. And I'm like, well, that's not what it says. If you have a love for something that's unnatural, well, of course that's going to be a problem for you. But hey, we're wrapping up. I want to give you the last word. First off, thank you for being on. And our first show from Studio B. That went pretty quick, didn't it?
My first podcast ever.
Is it?
Yes,
it really?
it is.
Congratulations. First podcast ever, first guest in Studio B. Thank you again for stepping up. I really, when they mentioned your name, and I'll be honest, it never, because I know there were people that were trying to get involved and names were being mentioned, and well, okay. And then somebody mentioned your name, and I'm like, will you do it? And they're like, yeah, I think you will. I'm like, that's amazing.
Doing it because there's good people.
Yeah.
In there. Good
Hey,
people.
I want to drive it home again. I want you to do it. I'm going to give Jackie the last word. But write in Jackie Craig. You got to circle. Do you have that? Can you pop that up there, Tony?
It is up.
Okay. So you circle the write-in vote.
You have to fill in the oval.
Right.
So just like you would on the names that are on the ballot, whoever you vote for, you've got to fill in the oval, and then write Jackie Craig. There's a line, and it's not an obvious line. It's a very faint line.
Yeah.
It says write in faintly. If you forget how to spell it or something, all the people who are authorized to be write-in candidates are listed somewhere in the polling place. Mm-hmm. So you just ask a poll worker, where are the official write-in candidates, if you can't remember how to spell. But
it's Jackie.
Jackie Craig. JACKIE CRAIG.
Yeah, just like it's. Thank you for stepping up. I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to the next group of leaders. Some of them are coming back. Some of them are. Well, I guess everybody at some point kind of is coming back at some level. I think you guys are great. I've said this 100 times, if I haven't said it 1,000 times. Marana's growth is not by accident. This is well thought out planning, has been for more than 50 years. 50 years is just when we got chartered.
It's a well-run town.
It is very well run.
Great quality of life.
It
the
is.
Incredible recreation that they've created, the roads, the infrastructure.
We just got to get more jobs. And that's part of what the future holds.
We need some jobs here. I don't want people to have a long commute. That's part of the smart growth, is to have the jobs right here.
Personal story, real quick. People will know where, you may not know this, but John Post said to me, Clint, where are your kids at? Our baby, our baby is in Boise, Idaho. Actually, Meridian. Boise, her husband got a great job there, working at a microchip plant. Well over 6 figures, stocks, and they moved them up, the whole thing is just like a storybook. Our grandbaby is there. She just turned a year a little bit ago. And so when I said that to John goes, you got to get them back. And I said, you got to help me. We as a community have to have good paying jobs for our kids so they can at least have the option to stay here. Because there's just not, as a region, we don't have that.
Right. Tucson's losing jobs.
50-ish per family. 50,000, I think it's 50 or maybe 55 per family of medium income. That's not, how are you going to feed your family, much less buy housing and do the things you need to do. Marana is double that, by the way.
Oh. That's right. I did see that.
It's like 108. Oral Valley's a couple grand lower than that. We have more retired folks in Oral Valley, but we got to have those good paying jobs, because that's the conversation that's taking place all across up here. How do we get affordable housing? Well, we have to have paying jobs that pay for the
Right.
housing. And with housing now, in that medium home is 400,000.
Right.
Then you better be making 100 grand.
Right.
I'm not doing the math for you realtors. You guys do all that. But that's just the facts. And that's where Marana is right now. We're at the crossroads of,
We need to balance all, because we have a lot of housing. We need
Yeah.
to balance the housing
Exactly.
with jobs, with
100%.
businesses. Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to leave it with that. Jackie, write it in. Again, Jackie Craig, circle the oval, or fill in the oval.
Yeah.
Write her name in. If you don't know how to spell it, someone will help you.
You got
Thank you
it.
so much, Jackie.
Thank you.
Hey, Tony, take
Pleasure.
us to commercial. And one of the first things we're going to see is a Jackie Craig commercial. Thank you, Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie Craig. I'm running as a write-in candidate for the Town of Marana Town Council. The way that these three candidates worked with a PAC out of California, Worker Power, and they derailed the downtown development project to develop downtown Marana into a real downtown. We can't have people who have such a misunderstanding of what Marana needs winning the council race. Fill in the little circle, write my name, Jackie Craig, for the Town of Marana Town Council.
For over 36 years, John Officer has lived, worked, and served right here in Marana. As an Arizona native and your town councilman, John brings a lifetime of local experience to the big decisions shaping our future. From coaching Eagle Scouts to his decades of work in water maintenance, John is the boots on the ground leader we need. He listens to our residents and stands firmly behind our Marana police and fire departments to keep our community safe. John Officer is dedicated to protecting our resources and preserving the independent soul of our town. Vote John Officer for Marana Town Council.
From the fields of wheat and cotton to the heart of our community, Marana was built on hard work and family values. John Post has farmed this land for years, built businesses, and served this community for decades. As mayor, John will fight for sustainable growth that respects our roots, keep neighborhoods safe, and make sure Marana remains the best place in Arizona to raise a family. John Post, farmer, father, and neighbor.
My name is Terry Murphy, and I am running for Marana Town Council. I have lived in Marana for 31 years. I love our community, and I would like to see more ballparks, an equestrian center. I would love to see kids have an opportunity to fish and boat with their families. I think growth is extremely important, and I think that with proper infrastructure and proper layout and proper design, that we can create a community that everybody wants to live in. I am asking for your vote, Terry Murphy, for Marana Town Council.
Hey, you found us on your feed. Are you wondering what Live the Dream Media does? I'm going to explain it to you. Let's go. First and foremost, Live the Dream Media is a premier digital advertising and marketing agency, but that's not all we do. We have also become one of the largest live streaming podcast platforms in the region, with our own online radio station and more on the way. Here's the coolest part. Right now, I'm standing in Studio B, where we are getting ready to put together an awesome state-of-the-art studio to continue the growth of this platform. One of the coolest things about Live the Dream Media is we take pride in being flexible. We enjoy the ability to make changes on the fly. If Live the Dream Media is a company you feel interested in working with and want to enjoy the flexibility and all we have to offer with our new podcasting network and our digital advertising abilities, reach out to us at contact@ltdmedia.net. Visit our website, livethedreammedia.com, or check us out on social media.
For over a century, radio has changed and impacted the lives of everyone, becoming one of the major foundations of communication, keeping us up to date in news and broadcasting, and providing daily music that we love. Radio evolves more as the years progress and time moves forward. And it is only becoming better. Live the Dream Media is proud to be part of that history, stepping into the evolution of online radio to make it more advanced than ever before. Introducing the Live the Dream Media app, your #1 online radio experience. Catch your favorite music 24/7 and tune into live podcasts, or catch up on your own time with our on-demand library. And you can also check out our integrated merch store built right into the app. No matter where you travel in the world, the dream stays with you. You can be anywhere on the planet and stay connected. Download the Live the Dream Media app for free today on the Apple App Store and Google Play, and experience radio reimagined.
Welcome back. Sitting here with a co-founder.
Good morning.
My business partner. One of the best people I ever met in my life.
Likewise. Congratulations on Studio B this morning,
Yeah.
Clint. You were the first to
It
host
was
a program
amazing.
out of here.
And did you hear Jackie say, not only was she our first guest, that's the first podcast she's ever done.
That's really cool.
I didn't even think about asking her.
Yeah. Well, you just get in the mode and you keep doing things
And
a lot.
Boy, you know what? Again, you want time to fly by, jump on a podcast with us. Because you think when you're going in, you look and you go, okay, we got 25 minutes or 55 minutes. So we got plenty of time to get to everything.
Right.
And then you look down, you're going, that 30 minutes is up. And we didn't cover anything that I thought we'd cover.
Right. Yeah.
But that's part of the reason why we do it, at least I do, the way we do it, is conversational, because then it just, people are relaxed. We get to know you more as a human rather than as somebody spouting off sound bites.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to catch up at the end on how to actually write in Jackie.
Yeah. That's good.
Again, write in Jackie, fill in the oval, write her name in. If you don't know how to spell Jackie Craig, someone will help you.
Yeah. So interesting. Did you guys talk about how that hasn't been done in Marana's history yet?
So help Jackie make history.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great morning. This weather, how cool is it that on the first day that it technically starts, right? The monsoon, you're getting some rain.
It came a little early.
Yeah. It started last night. Yeah. It started a little early. It's awesome. It feels good to ride in here and it's 78 degrees, 75,
How ironic today is the first day of operations in here. We have a new air conditioning unit. Yeah. Amazing. That was installed over the weekend. And right now we wouldn't need it if...
No.
But any other June 15th, we would... Saturday when it was being installed, it was 110.
Yeah.
And the dude working on it was sweating.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Yeah,
he did a great job.
It was rough.
It started about 6 o'clock at my house. It seems like the wind and the dark, and then in my head I'm like, well, how long is this going to last? 10 or 15 minutes, and it'll blow over. And here we are, 15 hours later, and it's still. Is it still? I haven't been out in a couple.
Still
hours.
Cloudy. Still looks like it might rain a little bit. Nothing as rough as last night and different things, but it's.
It started from 9 to 10 at my house last night. Our house. It was pretty strong. The dogs were a little bit, especially the newer one. That's kind of his first monsoon, so he was a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing like my sister's dog. He just loses it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's another great day because we have Studio B, and we were like, hey, we're going to do this big intro on it and everything. But I said, you know what? Let's trickle into it this week.
Just jump on it.
Let's just go on there. Let's learn the quirks, right? Because you can build the space as much as the other spaces you want, but if you don't have those tests to measure what needs to be addressed, to add things that need to be addressed. Like I see Tony just working like a madman back there, figuring out different things, better ways to do things.
And we were throwing things at him on the fly.
Yeah.
I've been throwing things at him since he showed up.
Yeah.
Like last minute stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to brag on Tony. I'm going to brag on Shay. These guys they're well coached. Thank you very much. You do a great job coaching them. You do a great job making sure they've got all the tools and resources that they need to make it happen. And then they're willing to put the work in and do the grind.
Right.
Right here in between the commercial break, we were talking about some stuff that we're going to tweak.
Mm-hmm.
No sense in sharing that, but we're going to tweak some things.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I got this. That's the kind of people we love doing business with.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
It's
surrounded by those kind of people.
The ambitious people, that moves into what I want to talk about today. Is
Okay, let's go.
The ambitious people. I find it very disappointing that folks are getting very comfortable on social platforms going after the ambitious, saying that, because they're so ambitious and that they create such value that they make more money or they build things and it benefits them, right? They always just jump to that person. They don't see the underlying work that goes into it and all the folks that are involved and all those other people that are benefiting from that being built, right? The jobs that are being created, the opportunities that are being created for the people to have families and to pay for things. And there's just becoming this real comfortability with people online, especially the younger generation, right? That think it's okay to try to have some type of ownership over somebody else's private property. Right? We're moving into a dark way of looking at things. It doesn't benefit everybody as a whole if you start going after and humiliating and trying to discredit folks because they've gone and been so ambitious to build something great, to build something that not only solves problems, but again, it creates opportunities for families and for younger folks to go to colleges and to do other things. I think it's a really slippery slope. And that's kind of really what I wanted to talk about today, because not only are you and I involved in that kind of world and Tony and everybody, it's how we grow as a society. We can't just try to cap everything and try to just take ownership over other stuff, right? I mean, how would you feel if somebody came and said, hey, you can't sell your house because blah, blah, blah.
Jackie and I talked about that.
Right?
We talked about the ground that being sold, like someone thinks that they have control over that. It said it'd be, I didn't use house, but it'd be like you've accumulated something, or you have stocks, or you have bonds, or you have things that have value, and now you can't sell them.
Right.
Someone and I referred to like the property in my at my house in the backyard. Somebody bought that and built some houses on it. Some of my good friends live back there. Well, I could have bought that property. Or the community as a whole could have bought that property. Anyone could have, it was open, it was for sale.
Yeah.
Now that someone owns it, someone else wants to dictate. David, I agree with you 100%, other than I don't think it's just young people. I think it's old people too.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I say that. Facebook is primarily older people, not younger people. Younger people are on TikTok, which we have an account, but I'm not there. Instagram, more your age group. I have an account, but I'm not there. Facebook is where I see all this. That's older people.
Well, what about the legacy media too, right? For instance,
they're 100%, they're 100%.
I saw them,
and that's
saying,
all,
"Hey, Elon,
that's all.
Elon is first trillionaire," and people complaining about it. I'm like, but what about all the millionaires his companies are going to create? You know what? You've got a lot of people now that we used to, as society, of course, things have changed and everything, the value has increased, but we used to have a lot of people that were envious of people. That's always been that way, by the way. People are on social media or on like whatever, talking about and that's envy, not jealousy, by the way. Let's get our words right. Right. But so they're going to take time out of their day and hate on somebody on social media that's done well. Right? Well, they're even to the point now where it's really concerning is they're attempting to stop a business from getting business. And here's what people, because of who a customer is or who bought something. Come on. You know, like us, for instance, right? There's no defining line for us. We just operate how we want to and do things we want to do. And for somebody to come in and go, hey, Clint, you know what? You can't do that because somebody might think it's a crazy concept to even have to well, I don't have to talk about, but to even see that it's an issue we should talk about
Yeah.
or start talking about over the next
Yeah.
couple of years. It's really just
I
blows
have
my
a good
mind,
I
man.
have a good friend. You know who I'm talking about. Good
Mhm.
friend. He's a great friend. I love him. He's a brother. And he was talking. We wasn't talking bad. He just was talking. In a conversation, he was talking about his boss's 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 boss. And this guy's a big time leader, but he's got people that he has to account to.
Uh-huh.
The only boss you and I have is our customers.
Right.
There's nobody above David that says, "Hey, David, I need you to do this. I need you to do that." That's been my style for the last 35 years. You guys all know my story. And I said to this person that I love dearly, I said, I couldn't survive in your world.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing great. But I can't survive in that world. And it's got nothing to do with ego or I'm the smartest guy or it's my way or the highway. You know better. And he said, Clint, you survive because you're the opposite. You don't actually have that ego. You know you don't know everything. You surround yourself with people that know the things that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The minute people start, you hearing me, Tony? The minute people start yes, sirring me all day long, we got a problem. Now you got to be respectful, right? You don't go around this, but you're right, David. It's again, I'm going to go back to the good book. It's in the good book. Envy is one of the most deadly sins of all. People are envious of other people's success. Stop it. When I see people, and I've been this way my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
When I see people that are successful, you know what I do? Like, hey, how'd you do that?
Right.
What's the key to your success? What right? If you're Googling something, what's the first thing I put when I'm looking at? Give me a successful scenario regarding X, Y, and Z. I don't want to hear about some loser.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what the success stories always have in it? A lot of losses.
A lot of reps.
A lot of losses, a lot of reps, a lot of not. Hey, to Elon real quick. Trillionaire. I don't even know what that number is.
I don't even, yeah.
Because, a million, if you were to count it, is 11 days. A billion, this is how much bigger a billion is than a million. A million is 11 days. A billion is 32 years if we're counting it in days.
Mm-hmm.
So what's a trillion? Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be 1,000 times 32 years?
It's
32,000 years.
Yeah.
So it's longer than recorded history. It's unfathomable. And yet here's the thing, David.
Yeah.
He don't have that money stacked up in his safe, in his trailer that he lives in at SpaceX.
I was just going to say that.
It's stocks.
So that's the false narrative, right?
True story. I don't have a lot in here. I spent a lot of money this week. I probably got more cash on me right now than Elon does.
Because he doesn't have any.
Because he doesn't have any.
That's
Warren Buffett doesn't have any money on him.
That's the sexy false narrative that all the old
Bill Gates doesn't carry around a bunch of money.
All the victim mentality types, right? They all think that they're all walking around with all this
They're
cash.
gonna blame somebody else.
And it's like these guys, these really rich people. Great book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, it's an old book. That's an old book.
That book changed my life.
Yeah,
read it, and it changed. And it's just educational on how money works and how to make money work for you. These rich guys, the really rich guys, they're not holding cash.
No.
When you see them go make a big purchase or they're going to do something, for instance, Mark Zuckerberg. Let's talk about Mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mark is a billionaire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many times over.
He doesn't carry a lot of cash, and when the companies and stuff are doing big projects, where do they go get the money?
The bank.
The bank.
They go borrow money.
They go borrow the money.
Which
you know
is non-taxable.
Because you can't tax that. So when you see all these people going, "Oh, we're going to tax the rich. We're gonna go after them," they're just sitting there going, first off, we're paying as much taxes as we can on what we do bring.
Yeah.
Income wise, but they're not going to bring in income. They're going to go get money from the bank.
You know what the problem is here?
Here's why I say that. We got to talk about it at a low level, because even conversations outside of here that I've had with people just at the grocery store, friends at events, birthdays, whatever else, no clue what that means.
No. Well, you know why? Same reason why kids can't read at grade level. We're not I said to somebody yesterday, here we are, the stuff that we're teaching is just remedial. Mm-hmm. It's remedial. The stuff we're teaching basically in public schools is what we would call remedial. Mm-hmm. Somebody needs extra help, right? I read something the other day where, I don't know what the percent, a huge percentage of people going into college have basically a 5th grade education.
Stop.
Everything they need at a college level, they've got to basically retrain them. When I was a kid growing up, I know this is that old guy story, but I born in the 50s, grew up in the 60s and 70s. We were teaching Latin to kids. We learned Latin. It was part of our curriculum. We learned civics. We learned math. We learned how to read.
What happened?
And then we got the No Child Left Behind. That sounds great. It sounds great, doesn't it? But when you take that from an educational standpoint, we just need to be teaching every kid, hey, grow at your own pace. I'm cool with that. If you're a 1st grader and you can do 3rd grade math, well, then when it comes to math time, let's put those right. Everybody needs to, but we need to educate our children, and we've dumbed them down so much. I read something today. I haven't verified this, but it makes a lot of sense. Jimmy Carter, rest his soul, created the Department of Education to get the educators on board with his candidacy. And a nice guy, but pretty, what's the word I want to use? Pretty lacking as far as a leader, as a president. A lot of bad stuff happened on his watch. We were number 1 in the world in education in 1976, 77, actually, when Jimmy Carter was inaugurated president. We were number 1. You know where we are today?
Where?
40. Yeah. 40. 40th out of all there's only 193 nations on the planet, and we're 40th.
Yeah. You know, I bring that to the table today, Clint. And I know we gotta move on here.
You gotta stop.
Yeah.
I was just starting.
We got more shows going on, but you know, I bring it up because I grew up out here. I've seen this place grow. You know, I've seen a lot of good things. You know, not everything's perfect. Totally understand.
Stop.
100%. But the messaging and the attitude and the things being said about some of the folks that are, you know, running for political spots here in Marana, the new ones, right? The ones that we haven't seen before. It's got a lot of that mentality of what we're talking about, right? Where we're talking about trying to control private property, where we're trying to talk about, or where they're talking about trying to control ambition.
Yeah.
That's not the culture out here.
Throttle it back so everybody stays even, so we all stay even.
No. I get it. You're going to try. They're going to try. They're going to continue to try. They're going to put their best effort forward from here on out. You know, I told the folks and leaders and people involved in things out here, this is your new normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is, right? And it's you got to counter that with education, right? 100%. So I wanted to start with the education part of, you know, let's talk some basic economic information, right? And first off, let's talk about the difference between private property and what's not private property, right? What's town-owned property, different stuff like that. Because the folks that are running now, the new ones that are running, they're running on that victim mentality, like somebody owes them something, that somebody owns everybody something.
David, not only do they owe them something, the new ad that's coming that I read, it's time to give somebody else a chance. Somebody else said, it's time for the old to step aside and let the new in. That's not how it works. That's not how life works.
I talk to a lot of people in the community, and I'm like, how do you feel about where we're at? I mean, the things you have, the parks, they're like, this is great. We know we can do better, but this is great.
Course.
And you drive not too far from here and you go, man, this is a completely different situation I'm in right now.
Yep.
Right. And I pray for that area all the time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I spent some time down there working. It's like, I pray for that area, and you don't want to see that out here. Like we can take steps to to keep things good and keep things making sense. You end up with that kind of problem and just whatever's going on with just this mentality. It's always this mentality, right? It's the winners and the not winners, right? The winners, they exist because they've not only just because they faced adversity, but because how they responded to it.
Yeah, that's more important because we all face adversity.
Because we all face adversity. When we have folks that are just demanding stuff be handed over, or that people, bow down to their idea, or that they should just be entitled to certain things, that's not a winning attitude. That's not winning leadership. You're not going to win over people with that, right? You want to see the strong, whether it's a man or woman who's in this in these positions that know, hey, there's going to be adversity. We're going to respond to it in an awesome way.
That's right.
And I think you're going to see over time, organizations and people endorsing certain candidates because they see that. They see the true leadership aspect. And I don't want to say leadership is this watered down term today, right? I want it to correlate with what we're talking about, that mindset, that attitude, being a winner. And being a winner doesn't mean you're a millionaire, or it doesn't have to be tied to money. Right? Winning can mean, hey, we see that there's somebody that's going through a really bad substance abuse issue, and we get them help that works. Right? We put them in the best position possible to succeed. Sometimes that's going to be taking them to treatment. Sometimes it's going to be they got to go to jail because there's other things tied to it, right? They made some decisions they probably wouldn't have made when they were high. To try to funnel everything into one idea that everybody's a victim and that we can't do this because we're entitled.
And the ones, here's the word that's starting to drive me nuts: privilege. Right? Well, they're privileged. They have special privilege. My own life, your life, we know our stories.
Came from nothing.
I was privileged to be born to the people I was born to.
Right. Amazing parents, family.
Yeah. That's amazing. I see a lot of our elected officials here and the people that I love and respect. There's really none of them were born to privilege. If they're privileged, they've achieved it on their own hard work and efforts. But you think about some of these people, that have been here. I'll say it. The Kai family got here 110 years ago. Grandparents got here. In this rock and dirt, they grew crops, right? They accumulated a lot of property. These people were, this is way before air conditioners or any kind of form of comfort. You think that was privilege?
Yeah.
When the people that showed up,
ambitious.
It's ambitious, and they've taken ambitious, replaced it with privilege. Want to whitewash it, and when's our turn? Well, your turn happens when you've earned
ambitious.
When you've earned the right to do it.
Be an ambitious soul. I mean,
hey, I got a newsflash. I'm gonna go on record right here saying, hey, I think the wake up call that has been sent to this community, I think the response to it is going to be overwhelming in the end.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to have your chain rattled just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
To go, well, what do we have here? Is this worth protecting? Is this worth getting involved? And I would say thank you to the people that created the wake up call. That wasn't their intent, by the way. Their intent was to create havoc,
discredit,
and we already know where a lot of that. And you're listening. I know you guys are.
And there's one in particular. There's one issue that really rubbed me the wrong way. And again, I'm not going to tell anybody how they should vote. You make the decision. Okay. But I'm going to say this as somebody that used to work for this organization. Okay. I used to work for the police department here, Marana. One of the best in the state, if not the country. Okay?
100%.
To go into the council chambers and say they're untrained and use curse words.
Yeah.
One of them, this is one of the people that were running.
I was there that night.
This is one of the people running. Completely blew my mind. You're so out of touch with where you're at to go in there and say that. Like, it's like, the cops here in this area have a hard time paying for their own lunch. You know what that means? Other people are trying to buy their lunch for them. And there's a reason that it's like that, right? So it's just, that's one thing in particular that I just was like, whoa. Again, vote how you want. Yeah. But I'm just telling you the truth. You can go watch the video. It's just mind blowing.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was in that room that night.
Yeah.
And the lack of disrespect was unreal. Yeah. You want to be, hey, look, challenge. I have challengers are great. Mm-hmm. They make sure we're staying in lockstep. Challenge should just tear everything down. I would look right in the camera and say, okay, what's your real campaign platform? Yeah.
Hey, the team's letting us know we are.
Are we?
Yeah. But hey,
remember what I said at the outset?
Yeah.
We don't have to respond to. We don't have to answer.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tony.
We're gonna respect their. He's got a. So the cool thing is he's actually gonna jump to the next studio. So this has been great. It's nice to see you. It's nice to be here today and be in Studio B. I look forward to renting this space out for folks ready to really knock some information out there.
Yep.
And again, just be kind to people.
Yeah.
Really educate and inform yourself on what's going on. Don't just read the surface level stuff. Go and
ask a few questions. Hey, cheers to our friends that are there and running for re-election, and to the challenger. This isn't personal. I don't know you.
Even though they've posted your name and all kinds of stuff.
I don't care about that. Matter of fact, keep doing that.
I didn't know I couldn't do business.
Keep doing that. I love that. So you really want to make me happy and smile behind the scenes. Yeah. David texts me. I'm like,
but also,
cool.
I'd have a conversation with you if you want to like go to lunch.
You want to, invite me out to coffee. Yeah, we'll come. We'll even buy. How about that?
Yeah, boom.
All right, it's not personal, but guys, as I say always. Thanks for listening and watching. We appreciate it. Be nice to each other. It's just not that hard.
Great job, Tony.
Tried.